Welcome to Tarot and the Deviants. It's an extension of our Deviant Witchery show. I'm here with Melissa, the Dreadful Mystic.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we are kind of, we're deviating from our normal tarot topics, and we're going to talk about oracle cards. The question and answers thingies up. And so if you have any questions, if you want to know anything about oracle cards, yes, love those. If you have any questions about oracle cards, if you want to discuss them, anything you need to know, we will do our best to provide our insight. And just know that everything we share here is from our own experience, what we perceive, what we've learned. And it's definitely not something that we're going to say is like, the rule for everyone.
Right.
So, with that being said, let's talk oracle cards.
Yay.
Okay. Since I don't know, it's funny. Let's just tell it. I guess the first thing we can talk about is the difference between oracle and tarot. What have you noticed like the big differences when you're reading with like oracle cards versus when you're reading with the tarot cards?
Oracle cards to me can be way more in your face, like head on to the point. Where tarot cards can sort of kind of guide you more, to a certain conclusion. These are like, here you go, this is it. And you pretty much know exactly where it fits into your life. At least with this deck, for me, has been spookily accurate.
I know. And the topic of oracle cards was suggested by someone very close to me. And actually, the reason why I got this deck, I've always looked at, and these are the Madame Endora fortune cards.
Mm-hmm. I don't even have my box near me.
I know. I'm like, I have all my cards over here, and I don't know. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so Madame Endora's fortune cards. Yes. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Super pretty.
And the cards are beautiful.
They're wonderful. I've always wanted to get this deck, and I never did. And finally, when I was talking to James, this was a while back, we were talking about the cards, and I'm like, finally, I just did. I just bought it, and I love these damn cards. They're freaking awesome, and they're so crazy, just so weird, just so accurate. I can't even explain. Oh shit, my cards almost fell.
The spider. That was my card today, actually, the spider.
Ooh, wonderful.
Which was very, it went well with my tarot card of the day, too.
Yeah, I think, obviously the obvious difference between oracle decks and tarot decks is you have with your tarot a little more organization. You have, 78 right. Cards. 78 you have 22 major. You have the 4 suits. So you have a lot more organization and a lot more
structure.
Yes, more and the more minute details. So if you're laying down the cards with tarot, you can look at this whole layout and you get very distinct situations. But when you put down oracle cards, they can be 22 to end up cards. Sometimes they're a little less, but most of the time I think they're 40, 36, 44 cards, stuff like that. But they're rarely 78 cards and rarely as organized as the tarot. Right. So with these, with oracle cards, you usually have distinct messages, very distinct. So this one is Medusa, and it says, jealousy leads to downfall. Medusa, jealousy leads to downfall. That's a very specific energy. And for me, what I like about oracle cards is it definitely relies a lot more on your psychic nature, because
Yeah.
you connect with that card and it's like boom, you kind of align with that psychic fabric. You tap into like faded lines, and you pull that information to you. You travel with it, and you have to kind of like, when I do my readings, it's like, okay, I'm focusing on a question for a client. I'm focusing on their energy. They have specific lines, specific, fabrics of their essence that are interwoven with the cards, and you travel with it, and you find that information, and you bring that back to your client. So you have to learn to really delve into your psychic nature to bring about these messages, because this is a specific message, and it's not going to mean the same thing for every single individual. So you have to learn to kind of like understand what it means for that situation. But they're so, I sometimes they're a little easier once you get used to connecting psychically. Once you get used to your development in that way, it becomes easier sometimes than tarot, because these you can just travel. Like, you have this layout. Okay, you have Medusa. You have the Mystic Circle. Mystic Circle means your abilities will be enhanced, right there. Okay, and the Medusa says jealousy leads to downfall. And if you're let's say you're asking about a question and it has to do with a mediumship circle, like a development circle, this could present, again, it depends, but this could present like a very specific nature. It could be like there is a woman in that circle who's kind of snakish, is very kind of cold, very cold and snakish, and while you're there to develop, they're not there to help you.
Right.
But yeah, I love oracle cards. I love tapping into that psychic frequency.
Do you ever use oracle cards and tarot cards together, sort of like maybe open up an oracle card using tarot cards, or vice versa?
I do. It's funny because I've been doing that a lot more lately, but before, when I was doing a lot more readings for clients, when I invested more into it, and didn't take my break, I would lay out my tarot, I would read, and then I would utilize like oracle cards to give like specific messages, like to give more like inspirational cards almost.
Right.
Like this one, Archangel Oracle, of course, by Doreen. And so I would like, okay, do that whole reading, express everything that needs to be expressed, and they're good. But sometimes I love using oracle cards to give like action steps, or give like a message, like an inspirational message, that kind of eases the transition, because tarot sometimes can be very brutal, very the way I read is very distinct, very direct. And so sometimes it's nice to kind of soften it all at the end with like an inspirational message and something that's going to be like an action step. So like this, remember who you are, and so that, depending on the message of the reading, I'd be able to say, well, this card's coming forth for this reason. It says, remember who you are. The Archangel Michael is, that's funny. Oh my gosh, is associated with this card, and it says, you're a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You are very loved. And so I would be able to tie that into the reading. And of course, that's going to make sense, because that's when you're doing a reading for someone, it's going to tie in. But I use those for, like I said, action steps, inspiration. And sometimes if the reading is very heavy, because I've done a lot of readings for people who have been through, like, again, like I said before, like domestic abuse, physical abuse, very, very harsh experiences. And the oracle card that I utilize during those times, they tend to help the client have hope. They, And I can give that with the tarot for sure. But there's something about the energy of an oracle card that when you combine it and you show your client like this is oracle card, it kind of like they like they're at ease. They like they just relax, you know.
Right.
I feel that so much because a lot of times I do distant readings most of the time, and so when I'm reading the tarot, I can feel their energy like get tense up, and they know the information, and they know because they validate, they tell me like yes, it makes sense, and we process that, but they understand that it's a lot to take in, and at times it's a little harsh, and so I feel that tension. I feel that, oh my God, this is, I know I need this, but I don't want to deal with this. And so when I break out the oracle, totally rambling, but when I break out the oracle, I feel their energy just kind of like totally like just relax. Like boom, it's just nice. It's very subtle. I can deal with this. I can work through this. This makes me a little happier. This makes me adjust or transition with ease versus this whole information that was being given to me like I couldn't deal with. The oracle helps to kind of transition that. It's something about the energy between, you know, oracle and client and oracle and reading or reader that changes things. What about you after my long ass ramble?
Yeah, I like them in the same way. Like picking a card of the day, and then I'll pick an oracle card to sort of emphasize, especially if it's a major card, because there's so much that has to do with the major card. And so you sit there and be like, okay, well, I know, I'm pretty sure it means this, but I also have this and this that can totally relate. And so I'll pull an oracle card, and it usually will pinpoint exactly what I'm needing to know at the time. But yeah, like you said, it seems like oracle cards do sort of lift your spirits whenever you're being told something you don't really, you have to hear, but you don't want to hear it.
Right.
You know? So, but yeah, I love using them to help me get clarification on situations, especially if it's a very emotional situation that has to do with like myself or someone I care about. They can be a big help, because a lot of times whenever I read for myself, there's things that I don't want to look at.
Right.
And I'll pull an oracle card, and you're sort of forced to look at it. It's like, oh, they are saying that. Okay, I gotcha. Got the message.
Yeah, that's so true too, because like with your tarot, like you can pull so much shit out of one tarot card, you know, because there's so many different aspects. So if you don't want to see one thing in a tarot card, even though you know that it means this one thing that for this reading, you can kind of travel and look at other things and kind of distract yourself and not really admit, you know, that this thing that you really need to see that you don't want to see. But with an oracle card, it's like so direct, like this is what it means, and there's no going around it.
Right. You can't say, oh, well, it might mean this, because it obviously doesn't mean that. It means exactly what you didn't want to see the first time around.
Right, absolutely.
So, they can be very direct and to the point. But like you said, they soften the blow. I mean, even some of the what you might consider a harsher message aren't that harsh. It's like, look at hindrance. It's great. It's just like, this little path is blocked right now. And you don't even feel bad about it. You're like, oh, okay. You know.
Right.
It's not like you're gonna stress over that.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm gonna have to find another way. Because it's not saying no, it's saying you might need to move yourself around a little bit.
Right. So again, y'all, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Anything about oracle cards, anything you want to know, different ways to connect with them. We are definitely here to be of service. I like this one. And the Queen.
Oh yeah, the Queen. I like that one too.
I really do like this deck. It's so like distinct. It's so much fun.
You know,
But
whenever you told me about them before I got them, of course I looked at them and stuff, but I wasn't expecting as much Egyptian symbolizations in them as there is, and I just love that.
I know, I really, this deck is just awesome. But one of the things when working with oracle cards, like I said a second ago, is it, for me, it relies a lot on your psychic development. And so when connecting, okay, let's just go in, like, what do you do when you do oracle reading? Like, how do you connect? Is there a certain like ritual that you do? Do you call anything in? What's the setup for Melissa when consulting the oracle?
Whenever I start working with my oracle cards, of course, I always ground and center. To me, that's habit.
Yeah.
I do a reading, any kind of mediumship work at all. But also, I do call in my spirit guide because, the first time I pulled a card from this deck, I mean, I like took it out of the box, shuffled, pulled a card. It was extremely relevant, and it also was very significant of one of my spirit guides. And since then, I have always called on that specific spirit guide because I just know that they have a good, strong connection with me in these oracle cards. So that's where I'm at right now. And I know, it changes. It can always change. Other beings can be called into play, but right now it is a specific spirit guide that I call to. So, my spirit guide doesn't necessarily just tell me the direct answers, but they show me where to go.
Right.
In a sense. Nothing comes easy. It's not going to be just spoon fed to me, but they will show me which way to go.
Right. I do the same thing. I basically ground, and there's so many different ways that you can ground. Sometimes I just, take my shoes off and I, read barefoot, I connect myself to the earth. And really it's just connecting physically, planting yourself on the physical plane, making sure that you connect, making sure that you are here, in your body as best as you can be, while you also at the same time leave your body, depending on how you read, and bring information. But I don't really, there's a tree technique that you can do to ground. That's always kind of like weirded me out for some reason. It's like, I don't know, I can't do it. I don't know why, but the root thing and becoming the tree, no, not for me. But, and that's probably stupid, but I can, when I ground, like I will, I'll focus on my breathing first. I'll place, my hand over my heart and focus on, the beat of my heart. And then I will place my awareness, like I will travel down and I will go to the center of the earth and I will be in that energy and I will see it as like this fiery, like reddish orange, sphere of energy. And I will pull it back up into me. I'll pull it into, I play with it sometimes. I'll pull into the root chakra. Sometimes I'll go a little higher, depending, and you should do that too. Like just play depending on where you want to ground and see how it feels, differently, because it will. Usually I will ground at the root chakra, put the energy there and let it transform and then let the energy go back down. So it's like a cycle, like the energy comes up and then it goes down. Like it's like a cycle of energy. So I'll do that. And then I was taught, like in psychic training, to bring in cosmic energy as well. And so I teach my students this, but I'm really not gonna teach it. But I'll bring in like cosmic divine energy. I will call it forth, I'll call it in, it will come through, and I do it a specific way or a specific type of energy, but I will call divine energy, however you feel cosmic essence is, bring it in through like the crown. I feel it come down through, every center, come down, and then it meets where my grounding is, and then that energy like mixes, and it comes up, hits your throat. It goes out, the arms, fountains out of the palms, and then it comes up and fountains out over here. So I make sure basically you're blending, earth and cosmic energies, and this is how I do, how I read when I read Oracle. I just make sure that I'm in tune and in alignment.
Right.
And
see, I like the tree grounding. Well, not really.
Well, you would.
But I do like the roots. That's the way I've always imaged grounding. Roots growing from my root chakra into the earth.
I don't know why it kind of weirds me out.
Really? I love the way that feels. It's almost like, I don't know, it's a very soft but firm connection to the earth. It almost reverberates.
Yeah.
Through
I'll have to work through that. I'll have to like see. I'll have to play with it more, but I'm like, it just kind of weirds me out. I don't know why. But so I'll blend those two, do the earth and cosmic energies, blend them, and you feel connected. You feel like you're in alignment. So you're very solid, and you ground the divine energy, you ground the psychic energy. So when you're about to read, if you travel, you're still in your body. So even if you leave, part of you still here. So when you go and travel, you're able to bring the information back. It's not necessarily about being scared you're gonna like not come back. It's more about being able to pull the information to you and retain it enough so you can express it to your client.
Right. It's not really leaving so much as retrieving.
Right. Yes. It's being able to kind of be in two places at once. Like root here, go over here, get inspired, bring that information, and release it. So I'll blend those energies, and depending on what I need, I always call on the spirits. I always call on ancestors. I always call on different energies and different spirits and such. Depending on what I need to do. If I know the client is working with a specific spirit, if I see them, I will, I'll call on them to be present if they're in alignment with their client, if they're going to bring about like a positive, or a good message, a necessary message. I'll work with them as well. But yeah, I'll do that. I'll ground, center, blend the energy. There goes my hat. Blend the energies, and then call in whatever I need to call in. And I do this as I'm shuffling the deck.
Right.
So I'll be shuffling, and I'll be connecting. I'll be grounding. I'll find my center. I will be, running the earth energy, bringing down cosmic energy, blending the two, calling in spirit the entire time. And the whole thing is very similar to how I do, tarot. It really is. Mm-hmm. But it's the messages really that come through that are slightly different. But as I shuffle, and I think everyone should do this, like as you shuffle, pay attention to everything that is processing through you. So as you're shuffling your deck and you're connecting and you're listening, you have to listen. If someone like a neighbor or something, like you hear a song from them, pay attention to that song. What was it? Because that might be specific to what you also need to express. If you feel a certain way, if you just know something, like if any information that comes forth as you're shuffling, pay attention to.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of, I do the same thing for tarot, but just pay attention. And I always, like, when I'm reading for someone, I'm always like, okay, so I might not understand everything I see, everything I hear, anything, however information comes to me, I may not understand, but I'm just going to relay exactly what I saw to you, like at the beginning, so I don't forget. And then I'm going to do the reading, and then we'll visit the vision or whatever after that, and kind of like see how it flows, and we can discuss that because I'm sure it means something to you.
Right.
Daniel, he says, I personally found that tarot is very general in the answers, and oracle cards tend to be much more specific.
I don't know. Sometimes it just depends, but most of the time, to me, tarot is can be pretty specific.
I think that, yeah, I think also that that depends on, like, you know, your connection with the cards, and because honestly, like tarot, oracle, both can be very, very specific. They have different energies for sure, but it just depends on what you pull out and your connection with the decks that you work with. I've had tarot decks like that express very, very specifically, you know, certain circumstances. You know, someone, you know, getting knocked up, and baby daddy not in it for the long run, even though they said they were going to be. Stuff like that, you know. So yeah, I think it just depends.
I see. Yeah, definitely. Because I have tarot decks that are like can be very harsh, and I know are going to be very brutal as far as like very honest. It's not going to sugarcoat anything. And then I have some decks that are a lot nicer about delivering certain news. Like it's very uplifting and more positive, you know. And but either way, they are still fairly specific. Like I have a couple of decks that I don't really work with that much that can be kind of vague. But I think if I put more work into them, it would be different.
And yeah, it's kind of like building a relationship with a person. Like they're like, if you're talking to someone and they're like not wanting to talk to you or not really wanting to express much, but the more you talk to them, the more you build that relationship, they feel comfortable, then they give more. You know, you just have to learn their language to kind of crack it open.
Right. And to me, oracle decks, I don't know, tarot decks are more rooted in the earth to me. I know I'm an earth sign, so things reflect themselves that way to me. But tarot decks to me are more rooted in the earth, where oracle decks are more rooted in air.
I see that.
But, you know, I've always felt that way.
I absolutely see that because, like, I feel, yeah, because, you know, when you're reading tarot, you're thinking very physical, very, like, what can I do here and now? Like, and I do get that, like, very earthy connection. And oracle cards are more like you're kind of like traveling, you're doing spirit work, you know, you're psychically connecting. You're still kind of, you know, still for, you know, the same reasons, but the type of information you get from an oracle deck is going to be kind of brought down or brought, you know,
very, exactly. Like, it's it's delivered by air, and tarot is more delivered by earth. That's just the way I feel.
I can totally see that. And Daniel says, so you're not necessarily referring to astral traveling per se when reading, it's more of a download of info. Not, well, I guess it just depends on the person reading. When I say you're traveling, I don't mean like, I personally don't mean astral projecting. I mean, I guess it can be seen that way, but I just mean like you are going to get information. So however you connect.
It's a psychic, more intellectual traveling than whole body.
Right, yeah.
And to me, those are two very different things.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how to like explain it because it's hard, especially it's like hard too with tarot versus oracle because they're so similar, but they're also very different. But it's hard expressing, you know, what makes them different because they're again so connected. Same thing with this too, because when I connect, I'm not necessarily leaving my body. Like when I astral, when I travel that way, I have that focal point where I'm going to leave the body. I'm gone. When I do my readings and I psychically connect and I psychically travel, I'm still in my body. A part of me is still my body, and a part of me kind of gets information.
And it's sort of like a half trance state.
Yes.
It's not a full meditation or full trance. You're not lost in yourself or absorbed or, or actually not there, I guess I should say, not in your body. But you're sort of like that state in between, right before you fall asleep, but you're not fully awake. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Where
It's
you're
very bizarre.
conscious of everything. You're just open more to receive messages than you would be, say, walking around in the grocery store.
And I think, and it's so hard because every way, every reader is going to be slightly different. They do things differently. But yeah, there's that. I wouldn't consider any time I do reading, anything I do as astral travel.
Right.
Unless like there was something going on and that was part of the service where I needed to go and connect and travel to a spot and do things that way. But that is like that is entirely different from like the reading services that I offer that we do.
Exactly.
Amy asks, what are the different kinds of questions you ask the oracle cards versus tarot cards, or does it depend on the oracle decks you have?
Well, I just have the one currently oracle deck, and I don't know. I would ask. To me, it doesn't. It's not so much the questions. Oh, that's pretty.
Look at the backing.
Oh, I love that. Which one are those?
This is The Wild Wisdom of Fairy by Lucy Cavendish.
I might have to check into that.
It's super. Yeah.
But to me, I ask the same questions. I mean, the spread. I use different spread formations whenever I use oracle cards. Because you don't like tarot cards, you can use huge spreads. I guess you could use a huge spread with oracle cards, but you're going to use up all your oracle cards in one reading. So, but yeah, I ask pretty much the same questions of an oracle deck that I would a tarot deck. They might be a little more, I don't know how to describe it. Not really spiritual, but kinda.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not really a spiritual question, but it kind of is. More so to oracle cards.
Okay, so kind of like, sorry to.
No, go ahead.
Kind of like where we have physical ailments, but in my belief, there is a spiritual connection, emotional connection to what, we manifest as a physical ailment.
Exactly.
So Oracle tackles that problem from the spiritual, emotional side, where Tarot might tackle it from the actual physical, right here, right now side, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's it exactly. So it'll be the same questions. I just know I'm going to get a different kind of answer. It's going to be more dealing with the spiritual side of things, when I use an oracle deck versus a tarot deck. Probably more.
Midnight Prince, look at that.
Oh, woohoo.
Hey. Okay, so, and I really don't ask the oracle cards any different questions than I would my tarot, like you. When we blend, our tarot readings with oracle readings, we tackle the question from different points of view. And so I think just like any good investigator, any good person who is trying to investigate and retain information, kind of like cover the different bases, they go for this area and they go for this area so they can make a better judgment on what to do.
Right.
So I will ask my oracle cards the same types of questions as I ask the tarot, and sometimes I will connect the two just to see how, and I will sometimes do it on like something I already know, like an experience that has already happened or experience that I already know how it's gonna, really manifest, and I'll compare the two. I will see how, and I suggest that you all do this too. So especially if you're still just starting to work out with Oh, blah, 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 I can't talk. And if y'all don't, I've been drinking a lot of coffee, so yes. So if you are fairly new to Oracle cards, and if you're not, I would take a situation, divine on it, use your tarot and use your oracle, and use it on a situation that you already know is going to give you results like super fast, something that's going to happen like within a day or two, and just compare after it happens, or do it on something that has already happened, and compare how the tarot answered it, and then compare how the oracle answered it, and then you will be able to feel, because you will always feel, everyone has feelings, and you will know, like, however it comes to you, you will feel it. How when you did the tarot reading, and when you go back and read the tarot reading, how it feels versus when you lay the oracle cards out, how that feels. And for me, again, it goes back with tarot being feeling for us like very earthy, and like the oracle feeling very airy. When I lay out my tarot cards and I read, it does feel very like I feel pulled down almost. Like I'm traveling, I'm getting information, but very physical. Like I feel like pulled down very physically. Not in a like negative way, but just that's where I'm going. When I lay down my oracle cards, I feel more like up here. I feel more like elevated. I feel like I'm spiritually like woo, like I'm more
like
up in
spiritually
this.
high.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, ask your oracle and tarot decks the same questions and pull cards for them, especially if you're just learning, and see how that works for you, and see how they can complement each other, because they do, and it's fun.
It is a lot of fun. And aspecting oracle cards is a completely different feeling than aspecting tarot cards. I mean, on
Yes.
so many levels.
Yes.
Way trippier, I guess is a word I could use. It's way more in depth, and like I said, you do kind of feel spiritually high.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you work with oracle cards. And so when you aspect an oracle card, really like put yourself into the card, it is really different.
Mm-hmm. It is, and I really believe that it's because like oracle cards are psychically charged. They tap into psychic frequency. So when you're laying down a card, their nature is already like above and beyond in a sense. Not necessarily. I'm not saying it's better, but it's different. And so, look at that.
Oh, I love that. That's pretty.
So when you connect with them, you're already connecting with like the higher self. You're connecting with energies that are more, uplifted and elevated, because that's like that's the intent of the reading. And let's just face it, a lot of people who utilize oracle cards, they have like the angel decks, they have like the other decks are a little more, uplifting, and most oracle decks have an uplifting nature. So yeah, you're connecting with that. There are we can answer all these at the same time, I guess. Which oracle and tarot decks do you recommend? And
There's so many.
I know. And do you need to cleanse your oracle deck when you get it or between readings? We will cover both of those, because those kind of like go hand in hand a little.
They do.
So what? Well.
I love Madame Endora's, because that is the oracle deck that I own currently. I'm really looking into, and I like, which oracle decks to me are a lot more personal, because a lot of times the person who will make oracle decks, they sort of specialize in oracle decks. They make a lot of those. They don't make a lot of tarot decks as well. In fact, I can't think of any people who make oracle decks that also make tarot decks. Can you? I can't think of any offhand. There might be some.
The only person I know is, of course, Doreen. But I'm not a fan of her angel tarot.
I'm not either. And I think that's the only tarot she has, and she has a lot of oracle decks.
Yeah, it's like she is on point with all her damn decks.
She is, and let's see. I like a lot of Doreen Virtue's decks, even though I don't have them currently. Now I used to have the deck you just showed, the Angels.
Archangel.
The Archangel deck. Yes, I had.
Yeah.
I used to have that deck. And I love that deck. I really liked it. I didn't connect to it as well as I connected to this deck because Angels and I have a history.
Yeah.
Always comfortable. So, but there is a tarot in time, which is done by.
I want that.
Yeah, I like it. It's got a very witchy feel to it to me. And it's actually bigger than a lot of tarot decks because I think it has 52 or 56 cards, which is pretty big for an oracle deck.
Yeah.
So I like that one. And as far as tarot decks go, Deviant Moon Tarot is right now my absolute favorite. Thank you. And which, I have my Rider Waite deck here, and I really like it. I like my Shadowscapes deck as well. So tarot decks and the Raven's Prophecy deck, that's an awesome deck. Tarot decks are very, they're very unique to the individual, and Oracle decks are too. So really, it's going to be for you.
Yeah, I love. I just love cards. I love cards. Have you ever seen List Deck?
Yes, I have. It's on my wish list right now.
This deck, I love. Look.
Doesn't she do another one that's like shapeshifters?
I have that too. I was gonna get it out, but I couldn't.
Yeah, I like that one too.
This is the Vampires Oracle. And she has Oracle of Shadows and Light, which I love. She has Oracle of Shapeshifter. She does the Wild Wisdom of Fairy. She does a lot, and I love I love every single one of them. So those decks I love. This one's pretty neat. This one is, I love the shape because it's so you can stab someone with this. You see that? Shiny.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and this is the Wisdom of the House of Night deck.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I like this deck. Super nice. Another deck that and we can talk about other stuff too, but I just want to share decks right now because it was asked. I work with the Wisdom of Avalon.
Oh, yeah, those are also on my wish list.
Let me see if I can.
I really love the way they look.
They're fun. They're fun to work with.
And I like Doreen Virtue's Mermaid and...
That's what I was going to show. I have a Mermaid Oracle. It's super nice.
Mermaid Oracle, I have it on my wish list too. That is going to be my next Oracle deck. I already know. And I think that's just one.
And I want to make a crystal deck because a lot of crystal decks I'm not fond of. But if you like crystals and you connect with crystals, a really good deck is crystal ally cards. Ally. Interesting. I'm not.
I like the art on that. I've looked at those before, and as much as I like crystals, I don't like the.
I don't like it either, but I'll use them for different things, especially if I'm kind of doing a write up on a crystal. But I'm not fond of the artwork. Just my personal preference. But another thing, like I said earlier, when I do oracle or tarot readings, and I give people action steps.
On my table right now.
And when I give people action steps or things to take action on, I use oracle cards. And this one, and what's funny is right before it came out, I was like, I really want to create a deck that is an oracle deck in deviant style, and it offers tips and formulas or spells. This is the Witchlings.
Ooh.
deck, and
I like Pauline Cassidy. She has a lot of cool stuff.
this is the backing,
Oh,
and
I love
this. Let's do this one. This is a card. It says wish. Okay. And then it says a wish motivates the heart's desire, keeping hope and faith alive. So that's the card. But if you look it up, like in the booklet, I'm not going to look it up. But the booklet will tell you about like the card. And then it gives you different techniques and like a little, like this is like a bath for good luck.
Oh wow!
So the whole book like is like you can look up the card and they have like three. I think she does three like little like spells or three little different things you can do. Cool. I love that. Like there was a point when I first got it that I just started every reading I would utilize one of these just to help people connect more. But yeah,
well now that's the one I want next. I have her tarot. Crap, I forget what it's called, but it's
Joy something.
Yeah, it's French. I can't remember off the top of my head because I don't speak French. But it's her tarot card deck like that is really neat as far as the imagery and everything. It's really cool. So
yeah, I love like if you can look up Lucy Cavendish. Like I love her oracle cards. Here's the Oracle of the Dragonfly.
Oh yeah.
And Doreen has Life Purpose, which I've been using. Oracle. Just have fun. I can't, Oracle cards, any deck really. Just get one and start working with it. There's really I can't. It's hard to recommend one because there's also
so many.
There's so many.
They're so varied.
Yeah, if you love the artwork of Jasmine, I forget her full name, but then you'll love Lucy's. A lot of Lucy's decks are that artist. Definitely check into that. As far as cleansing, I think we discussed this last show, but it's just my thoughts are the same when it comes to cleansing oracle decks. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, like I said, I pulled one off this deck like as soon as I took it out of the box. I just shuffled it and pulled a card. Because to me that's good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I strike it up to my lazy nature. I was like, I clean my house all the time. I'm not going to spend 2 hours cleaning some of my cards. It's never had any kind of ill effects. And I like the way they feel right out of the box. I like the energy.
Me too, yeah.
It's kind of like it's not really blank energy because they have their own energy, but it's fresh and new and just vibrating, and it's amazing.
And like when I shuffle a deck, I feel that's me connecting with the cards. So when I shuffle the deck, I don't know. I've never had that like belief where you have to cleanse the deck. I just feel like you just get in there and you work with it. So as you shuffle, like you're shuffling it, you're moving that energy around, that air is going, you can like breathe on it, give it life if you need to. But I feel like the more you work with the deck, the more that it activates and engages. And so every time you shuffle it, and that's kind of like how I'm programmed, like every time I shuffle, it's like a clean slate and I'm ready to tackle the next question. And the deck's moving. It's right. It doesn't need to. Need to be cleansed.
It's like eager whenever you first pull it out of a box. To me, the deck feels so eager, like, oh yay! I'm about to be used for the first time for what I'm making. And like, just like
touch me, use me.
It's just super excited. Like I can't tell you how many times I've had decks literally pretty much jump out of the box.
Right.
That's what this deck was. I mean, I opened the box and it was just like bam in my hand, ready.
So yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I think more so when people feel that their deck needs to be cleansed. I think it's more about the reader than the deck. It's more about what the reader picks up on. If you are not trained well, and if you retain the emotional baggage of your client, if you retain like that energy attached to you from them, if you keep that on you, you don't actually learn to let go and learn to like just detach. I was gonna say discern, like no. You don't learn to detach yourself from your client after each reading, then that's on you. You need to learn that. You need to do that. What I do after I finish a reading, I'll go back, reground, and I will do this. Like I'll bring all the energy back into me, and then I'll do this. I'll like break it, and then I kind of zip up. That's one way that I do it. Like I make sure that their energy stays with them, and I make sure that my energy stays with me. For those of you who work with angels, you can call on Archangel Michael for assistance, and he is really good at severing those ties, breaking those connections.
Right. I always envision like a string, just a simple string, and with scissors, and just clip. I see the string go in my client, me, and clip, and then, like you said, I like to ground again. I also like to recycle the energy that I've had flowing through me and just put it back in the earth.
Right.
And then bring up new clean energy. Also, do you drink any of those synergy drinks? I'm talking about the kumbaya.
Oh yes, I do. I like that shit.
I love that stuff. And they have one, it's synergy. I think it's called Balance.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And I love drinking those after a reading. For some reason, they just like, it truly has me completely balanced. And I just feel amazing after that.
Another, I love those drinks. Yes, I need to get one now. I'm like, great, thanks.
I really wish I had some.
I know. One other thing that I do, and I think I put this, another thing that I do and that I was taught was to envision like a golden sphere over your head. Okay, so envision that golden sphere. Then you put the current date, the current time, your name, the location that you're at. Put that in there, and then say, good luck. I put into this like good health, feelings of support, of love, of confidence. Put everything in that golden sphere. All right. Anything you can think of, and make it all uplifting and positive. And this is really good. You can walk your clients through after a reading as well, because after certain readings they might be feeling a little vulnerable, a little raw. So you can put all these different things, but you have to make sure to date it, your name and everything like that, and put all that until you see that golden sun full. It's like it's very abundant, it's full, it's bright, it's glowing, it's ready to spill. And then what you do is you crack it open and you see it like come down almost like this honey, a little more rich, like very rich honey, like pouring down from down from the sphere into the crown, and you see it come down, and you see it like fill and like really go and get you and like fill your energy centers with that energy, and it hits every chakra point, every energy center in your body. It goes through, and you bring it all the way down to your feet until you're full of this amazing energy, and you feel it, and it's great. And when it's when it's all inside and when it's all over you, it's completely consumed you. That's when you kind of like do your break, and you kind of tip your head over and you do this. You kind of like make sure everything's done. Get that excess off. You can comb it. You can comb your aura. Just comb it and do that. And after that, what I do is like I place, again, I love placing my hand on my heart. I place my hand on my heart and I focus. Like I recenter myself. Like that makes me feel good. And then I pay attention to how that energy is, interacting with my body. And I pay attention to anything else that is coming to me. And as that energy settles, I become more of who I am. I become more of myself. And so I pay attention to all of that. and I ground myself in my heart, and then I'm done.
Yeah. That's awesome. I like that.
And it's a fun technique, and it puts everything, and you can utilize that, and you can program it to attract all energy that has been, that you spread throughout the day. So you can do that before reading and after reading, and attract everything that you spread out during the day, all the energy you left at the grocery store, at work, blah, 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 attract that. And so that gets full, and you program it with all these other good things. You crack it open, let it go and say through you. Yeah, but that's a great technique to utilize and even walk your clients through.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is a really good idea. I'll have to try that.
It's fun. It really is. In psychic training, I remember I loved being a person to walk people through it, because I would always, I don't know, there's just something about feeling that golden sphere and kind of picking up on the psychic energy of everyone that you're in class with, and knowing that they need this. Like, you're being told that they need this, so you put this in there, you put this in there, you put this in there, and then you walk them through, and they're like, I really needed that, thank you. And it's not an ego thing where you did something. It's more of like, you're a part of an experience, and you are able to create something with everyone else, and everyone feels good.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. That would be amazing in a group setting, I bet.
It's fun. It's something else for sure. Before we close, we should maybe pull an oracle card.
Yes, let's do that. What do we pull an oracle card on?
But before we do that, does anyone need any clarity on anything that we've discussed on oracle cards? This is very basic, but also fun. If you have any questions, get those out right now. We can try and answer them. If not, we will continue to our oracle. I don't know, what should we like?
We could do we can do just a message of the day, or
okay. How about, or we can do let's focus on a message that anyone watching, something that can touch them, something that they need to hear right now that they can benefit from.
That sounds good.
And I'm going to use my Conscious Spirit Oracle deck because it's so pretty.
It is pretty.
Oh, so since Oracle decks and stuff are really I feel you should really start to develop psychically. This book is so easy to read, and I love Sonia. She's so amazing. She's her spirit is so gentle. She's so sweet. Trust Your Vibes is a really good introductory book to help you trust your instincts, to really trust what you receive. My hair is fucking bothering me. It really is a great book to help you get to know the subtle energies, to trust the stuff that's coming to you. So she has Trust Your Vibes, and she has The Psychic Pathway, which might be another good book eventually to work through, who knows. But look up The Psychic Pathway. That's another good book to help develop. There's so many good books on that. If you want to know more, you can definitely message the group,
Yeah. To me, there are so many good psychic development books out there. I actually feel like sometimes there's more of those really good books like that than there are witchcraft books.
There are. That's because a lot of people who write about witchcraft don't want to talk about or sometimes it's not necessarily you don't want to talk about it. Sometimes it's more so they can't, and so they fail to express what they need to express the right way, as much as they can share.
But psychics will tell you everything. They just spit. And it's good stuff. I have one. It's psychic for beginners, something or another, and he writes in such a good positive way, and he just makes it so easy. You know, a lot of people get really caught up in the how does it feel and am I supposed to feel a specific way and
Right.
things like that. And he just makes it so easy to understand that there's not a specific way, you know. Or like the most common thing is like a feeling in your gut, like a literal feeling in your gut.
Right.
Just different things like that. So, and I'm still in.
Well, another thing, like when you're developing your psychic tools, your psychic skills, is to don't compare yourself to anyone else.
Yeah.
And you might filter your psychic experiences through a different filter. So someone might be very, very great at seeing. You might be very, very great at hearing. You might be very great at feeling. There are different filters, and doesn't mean you can't develop the others, but don't just because everyone wants to see most of the time, don't limit yourself by focusing on wanting to see something when you're actually getting information through direct download, through feeling, through sense of smell. There's so many different ways. So don't hold yourself back by limiting the way the information comes through. That is a huge one. That's like something I try and teach everyone is be okay with who you are, be comfortable in how information comes to you. And if you are in alignment, if you are in understanding that the way you filter information, the way you filter psychic information is however is specific to you, and you're okay with that, then everything else will start to develop. Everything else will start to come forth a little stronger because you will hone your dominant skills. And as you do that, you'll open the door, open the gateway for your other skills to manifest because you're not denying yourself of what is rightfully yours at this time.
Exactly. And don't think that you're just going to stick with one type. Don't get too comfortable with the way you perceive psychic messages now because it's going to change.
Yes, it will.
It will change.
When you start to full body channel and you start to you start to physically see spirits and you start to hear, and everything, and where you are now, be so grateful for where you are now, because in a month, in 2 months, in a year, in 2 years, you're going to be able to look back and say, wow, I have changed so much and I've grown so much, and I am so grateful that I was able to, be in the experience I was then, but I am so blessed to be where I am now. Okay. All right. That's funny. Oh my. Do you want to go first, or would you like me to?
Sure, I can go first. Mine is the Hand of Fates.
Oh, that's funny.
That is funny. Since we were kind of talking about that just then, forces beyond your control intervene. So get ready because things are going to change, and in unexpected ways. Anytime I've had this card come up here just not so long ago, and for me it was definitely a growth period.
That is interesting.
So when the Hand of Fate intervenes, you just never know what's going to happen. But to me, I know you did.
No, I didn't. I was just like that card is awesome. No, I didn't get this card. No.
Oh, okay. I was going to laugh so hard. But yeah, it is an awesome card. I mean, to me, this is something that is divinely meant to be. Whether you believe it or not, or even are expecting it, something is going to change in your life, and it's going to be beyond your control, but it is going to be so much more than what you thought.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's not, you're not going to have this question mark of whether am I really powerful in my craft? Do I really have a handle on my mediumship? You're going to know soon exactly how much more there is.
You know what? That gives me the chills because earlier, when I was going through the deck to look at cards to share, um, this card, it didn't come out, but it was in the deck as I was looking, and it stood out to me. I'm like, oh, interesting. But that just gives me the chills. It's so wow. Yeah, so definitely, and you can feel that in the air. You can feel that in the energy that's going on right now. Like there's so much in process of change, you know, and change is constant. Change is something that we do not have the luxury of really denying because no matter what, it's present. And to go with what you've expressed as well, I feel that this card is also expressing that you have the choice, you have the option to either go with that flow, and y'all know how much that expression is on my last nerve, but it's true. You have the option to embrace your fate, and this kind of links to what we were saying about, you know, the fabrics of psychic nature, the lines of fate. When you're reading oracle cards, you tap into that. So this totally is in alignment with what we've been expressing, and this totally so this expresses that you either have to accept it and take charge and embrace it and grow, or you can deny it. You're still gonna it's still gonna happen. It's gonna hurt.
Right.
And that's kind of the thing that's like it's beyond your control. So this is something that freaking Scarlet. This is something that is inevitable. This is something that, and again, like, and especially like with our tarot topics, with the oracle cards, with active integration and participation, when you start to practice and you work and it shows, it pays off, and you grow. Like you can't deny that. When you put in the work, when you are putting in all that is required, you're gonna go somewhere. You progress. You might not realize how significant, how intense that progression will be. So it might be very overwhelming at first, but know that if you open up to it, if you allow it to kind of flow through you and you kind of ride the waves, it is going to be so much easier than not.
Exactly. It's just like swimming against the current or with the current. It's so much easier to just flow with the current than trying to swim against it. It's just going to tire you out and make you kind of miserable. So don't forget that there's an easier way.
Right.
It doesn't have to be difficult. So just go with it.
Can you see that? Like, oh.
Sort of, kind of.
Okay, well, that is the root chakra.
Of course it is.
Of course, right? Okay, shit. My lighting. Okay, root chakra.
Okay, yeah.
Secret adorbs. She's cute. Very red. This card expresses, I have everything, and this kind of goes hand in hand, which is great. I have everything I need to survive and grow on the physical plane. So, okay. What this card, I'm like shaking like a freaking tweaker because this coffee is working. So what this card is expressing right now to those who are listening is that, and it goes again with the hand of fate, everything you need, you already have. So when you're in specific to like oracle reading, specific to the psychic nature, you are psychic, you can read the cards, you just have to develop. It's all within you. It's all in your grasp. It's all stuff that you have to connect with, you learn to connect with, but it's not something that's an outside force that you have to bring into you. This is more about, this is something that you need to physically, and you need to understand that this is in you, this is a part of you, this is who you are. So it's not about defining yourself by other people, defining yourself by other means. This is about understanding and remembering, your actual nature. This is remembering your primal self, your raw and your physical, just very rooted self. Like this card is trying to remind you, and to give in, to express your survival skills, express your physical nature in a way that you can integrate with everyone around you. It's reminding you to stop trying to latch on to others, stop trying to trying to be a part of this or be a part of that, or try to latch on to other skills when they're not your own. It's reminding you that you will develop and you will progress in your own way, and you need to remind yourself that you are you're a physical being. You're a spiritual being living a physical experience. Therefore, you are rooted in yourself. You're not this person, you're not that person. What you have to do is get to know and love who you are. And yes, it's about love. It's about acceptance. It's about, accepting where you currently are, and really looking in the mirror, but not like an outward mirror, looking on the internal mirror, looking inside yourself, and understanding that everything, all that you do, all that you experience, everything that's going on right now is an extension and expression of all the stuff that's going internally. And you have that power to change it. You have that power to alter the course of events that are currently manifesting. So in order to kind of go with the hand of fate, to, this is something that's going to happen, and to ease it, you need to really understand your physical nature. Just go within and accept yourself. Stop denying who you are. Don't lie. This is about not lying. This is about being honest. This is about having integrity. This card is about, owning your shit. It's about expressing yourself on a very physical level, understanding how you interact with the physical world, understanding how you connect with your friends, with people of the workforce. This card is saying be authentic. I really don't like that word because it gets used so much, and but that's kind of what this card is about. It's saying be authentic, because no matter what, this shit's coming. And if you're authentic with yourself, if you express yourself in a very honest way, and you don't lie to yourself, this is about not lying to yourself.
Exactly. That's the thing that people do the most and don't even realize, I think, a lot of times, that they're really doing it. Don't lie to yourself. And so many people do. And that's why you struggle when fate comes in to direct your life in a certain way, and you're struggling and fighting against it, because this whole time you've been lying to yourself about who you truly are.
Right.
So, and especially this time of year, everyone likes to sort of focus internally and turn towards themselves, try to get rid of the shit that's hanging on that they don't need anymore. Get ready for the new year, the new things coming into themselves. These cards are perfect to me for this time of year, because it's going to change.
Some of y'all are going to get knocked up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying.
Beyond your control.
So if you don't want to get knocked up, you better be wrapping that shit up.
Right. A lot of time at home, a lot of extra time on your hands.
Exactly. Well, it happens, but it's true. Like, the root chakra, very physical, very, it's yeah. And the hand of fate, like something's out of your control. You better be on that shit. You better watch out.
Right?
No, but seriously, y'all, own it. Like, just be comfortable in your being. Be okay with who you are, and be okay with whatever experience you are at right now, whatever level of experience you have. there's nothing wrong with where you currently are. So just because someone else might be ahead of you, or not even ahead of you, but they might have, their skill sets for themselves are progress, and you want to be there, you're where you're supposed to be right now, and that's okay. If you want to be if you want to progress for yourself, not comparing to another person, if you want to progress for yourself, then do the work. But own where you are right now. You don't have to lie about where you are. You don't have to pretend that you're over here just to be over here. You can be here and still be with this, be with this person, be with a skill set, but still developing your own. But you need to understand that you have to own it. You can't deny it. You have to be comfortable with where you're at. Because if you're not, and if you hold back, and if you kind of like put on a mask or put on like the show, it that fades away, and it's more damaging to you than anything else. This
And
is
it can be
funny.
the reverse too. I mean, so I know a few people who think they are less capable than what they are.
Yeah.
They're way more capable than what they give themselves credit for. So
Yes.
it can work either way. Just make sure you understand who you are, and there's no shame in who you are. It doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
There's no like contest. There's not a race.
No, this is, and that's that's the thing. It's like, you are a practitioner, you are a witch. Like, this is who you are. Live it and be okay with it, and it's fine. Like, don't. I've always like seen people who are more advanced. I'm like, oh, cool. I hope to be as advanced one day. What do I have to do to get there? I've never denied myself of where I was at any current time. Like, I know where I know where I'm lacking. I know where I'm strong. I know what I need to do, or if I don't, I'll find out. That's kind of the beauty about being a witch, is like, you get to experience all sorts of different things, and there's no, like you said, there's no shame in being somewhere, anywhere.
Exactly. And even if you're just a tarot reader and not a witch, if you're a psychic or medium, and you feel like, oh, well, there's people out there that are so much more knowledgeable than I am, or, it's sort of like our tarot group that we're doing the discussion of the tarot book, Dusty White's tarot book. It doesn't matter. We're all on different levels, but none of us are in there thinking, oh, well, this is so beneath me.
Right.
I mean, we're all learning the same things, but we're all getting different things out of it because we're all at different levels. And it's not a competition. And, there are always going to be people that are going to be better than what you are at what you do, and there are going to be people that are worse or just different.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's just pointless to compare yourself to anyone else.
Right. Absolutely.
No one's going to be like you. That's just all there is to it.
Right. And that's kind of the thing. It's like, be you, because that's the perfect person you can be, because that's who you are. So yeah, let's tie this shit up, because we have been rambling on. But y'all, just connect with your cards. Like, shuffle your oracle, connect with it, do your psychic exercises, like ground, center, and then, like I said, try running like earth and cosmic energy and calling spirit in, or angels, however you prefer to connect. Do what you do, and shuffle and pay attention to everything. And that's the thing, is like, you have to pay attention. Like, you have to be a very good observer. You know how, like, I know y'all, there's some of y'all who know this shit. You probably do this right now. When you think someone is cheating on you, and you're like, I'm gonna find out. Mm-hmm. And you're like stalking them like crazy. You're like going through pictures, you're going on Facebook, you're like driving downtown, like, where's his car? Where's her car? That's kind of what you have to do. Like, you have to pay attention. Like, you're very alert. You're you're on it. And so when you're shuffling, that's kind of how you have to kind of treat it. You have to pay attention to everything that is coming in your head, like everything that's processing, and go from there. This here.
Exactly.
Mm.
So be observant.
Yes. Okay, so do you have anything else you would like to say before we tie this shit up?
I'm good. Oh, and if y'all haven't checked out the Deviant Witchery group, if you are interested in the tarot and the Deviant group, there's all kinds of information on Facebook, and there'll be links. So check it out.
Yes. Oh, and we're also I'm still doing 1,200 subscribers. Y'all invite your friends. Don't be shy. Invite your friends. Help us to grow because the more we grow, the more we're able to help you. The more we're able to like process and share and also I love doing giveaways. So the more like that you help us, the more that we grow, the more we are able to give back as well. So it's like this cycle. So to definitely help us get some more peeps, and more so like do video responses, connect with us, talk with us, because I look forward to that more than seeing people subscribe. I love when people subscribe, but I like more when I can hear what you think. I like when you talk. I like when you bring up stuff. It's great. So definitely do that.
Well, do you want them to do a video response to this show, maybe?
Yeah, what should we have them do?
How about you tell us how you feel about the tarot and about oracle cards and what makes them different for you?
Yes, and give us like a technique on how you connect with spirit or how the process is for you when you're doing your readings.
Yes, perfect.
Yes, write that down. Okay, so we will see you next week. Peace out, peeps.